You're good to go, sir.
All right. Hey, everybody. Ira Miller here, the Village's Expert, coming to you Monday night live here on the Village's Expert. So, want to try to get things kicked off here. First of all, we're trying a brand new system. So if there's any glitches or anything like that, please, excuse us because this is brand new. I totally expect there to be some issues here. All right, so hopefully not. Hopefully we don't have any, but we'll see what transpires here. So, hi everybody. There's Donna and Carol. Thank you so much for participating and tuning in tonight. We're going to go ahead and have a great time. I think it's been a little bit over a month since I've done one of these. And we actually, you can't see it over here, but we actually just did a great testimonial video of some folks that just came down to see their home for the very first time other than through video, in person. And this is going to be a great video. So probably will have it done since this is Monday. Christian will work on it Tuesday and Wednesday. Probably have it up by Wednesday. So you have got to see this testimonial video. You'll be impressed. All right, so we have Patricia and Drew and Kevin. Very good. Hi, all. Thank you for joining us on our Monday Night Live chat. And so I guess what we have to do is if anybody wants to call in tonight, Christian, write down the number for everybody in the chat. It's 352-204-9026. You'll reach Danielle. She's back there waiting for your phone calls, and then she'll transfer them to me if you want to talk to me in person on the telephone. And love to talk with you. Just, have some topics that I can talk about and maybe some questions that I can answer for you. That'll be great. So let's see. There's Diane. So thank you, Christian. He just put up the telephone number for anybody who wants to call in. If you don't want to call in, that's great. I kind of understand. Look, a lot of people, I'm one of them, don't like to hear the sound of their own voice. So you'll probably hear that over our speakers anyways. But we can go ahead and chat about anything you'd like to chat about today. I tell you what I'll start the Monday Night Live off about is this market. This is a wild market. And I thought it was starting to slack up. Things have kind of slowed down for me a little bit. I'm not getting so many people calling in and wanting me to go run and look for homes for them. I think maybe a lot of people who have been wanting to buy a home for the past year, most of them have already probably done that. So I guess we have some stragglers out there, but I looked at our inventory today. Our inventory is down to 51 homes in our MLS. Now that is 10% of what we normally have on the market. We usually have about 500 to 550 homes at any given time in a normal marketplace, but 51 homes is just, that's crazy, that's wild. So, anyways, that's what I'm here for. That's why you see a lot of my videos of running out and shooting videos for people, and which I love to do, I'm more than happy to do, and that's why I made that testimonial video this evening. And So if I can help anybody out there, just let me know. Stephen Wilburn, hey, how are you? In June. So Carol has a question for me. Hold up. I don't know what happened there. My camera went out on me. Had to, I don't know. So, all right. So, Carol, do I foresee a decrease in home prices anytime soon? Any predictions? Well, I guess what I can say is it's all about supply and demand. And as I just recently mentioned, having only 51 homes on the market, I really don't see anytime soon prices decreasing. They'll only decrease when the supply starts coming back up. So so I would just say maybe towards the end of the year we should have some price decreases, or maybe the price is starting to slowly come down. My biggest concern is interest rates. So kind of heard some little rumblings about the possibility of raising interest rates. I've actually been waiting for that to happen. I'm not surprised that it would happen. But until the inventory comes back up, there won't be any price decreases for sure, Carol. So Kevin's gonna put his home on the market here shortly, trying to get it back in tip-top shape. He had some renters in there that just kind of wore a little bit heavy on the home, so I think he's having it cleaned and he's having it painted, and it'll be ready to go. Let's see. All right. So June is saying, I'm afraid to sell my home in Port St. Lucie because I'm not sure I can find one in the Villages. What to do? Gosh, you know what, Patricia or June? That is a very awesome question and observation, because it's kind of a catch-22 situation. I mean, and so I do have Pat, who's out there, who really wants to buy a home. Here's the problem. She has to sell her home first before she can buy a home here, or I think she's wanting to buy in on top of the world. That puts you in third place of desirability, okay? So first of all, the first place person who makes a good offer that's cash, they're the top contenders, okay? And then the next one would be somebody who's financing. The third one who has to sell a home first, that is, that's kind of an issue. So that puts you at the very bottom of the rung here when you're trying to buy a home. But we can possibly, I can talk with you, June, and we'll go over some scenarios for you. But I'll tell you what I want to do, though. I'll come back to that, June. Let me take my first call. Hello? Hello? This is Ira.
Hello?
Yes, this is Ira. Who's this?
This is Mike from Connecticut.
Hello, Mike. How you doing? Thanks for calling in.
Great. I enjoy your videos very much, and I just had a question on the process and the down payment requirements for new construction and on top of the world, on the fee simple areas, and Sola Vida. And I don't know whether you could help me with that information.
Okay, so Solavita, I'm not real familiar with. I've been to Solavita. I have never sold a home in Solavita. I've kind of checked it out. And I've actually gone to the sales office and talked to one of the salespeople in there. But as far as what that process is for a new home, the whole thing is in today's market, with the way sales are going. So I know for On Top of the World, for instance, they're on a kind of a lottery basis. So what you have to do is if you want a new home over there, you have to go through, give them your name, tell them, what it is that you're interested in. You say you're interested in the fee simple homes, I'm assuming over there at On Top of the World, rather than the leasehold. And what they'll do is whenever home sites come available, they'll give you a call and they'll say, and you'll pick out like lot 63, lot 64, in different neighborhoods and On Top of the World. And then when that comes available, they'll go ahead and give you a call and see if you're ready to go ahead and order your home. And that's how they do it over there and On Top of the World. In Del Webb Stone Creek, which is right next door, I know they have a little different method. They have a bidding method. So rather than the lottery type, where they put your names in a hat over On Top of the World, and they're pulling names from the hat, and then they're calling you to see if you want to go ahead and reserve a lot. Over on Stone Creek, it's a bidding. And so they'll call you up and they'll say, okay, we have one of the home sites that you're interested in. The home site is, let's say, $15,000 base price, for instance. Are you interested in this home? Do you want to offer a higher price? How would you like to do that? And there's usually 3 or 4 people that are after the same lot. And you can decide whether you want to go up 1,000, whether you want to stay at 15,000, or what you want to do. But that's how they're kind of working it over there at Stone Creek. But I'm sorry, I just don't know a lot about Solavita. Does that help?
Yes. So I'm a couple of years away from retirement, so the long process of building a home is actually attractive to me. But what I was hoping was that I'd be able to get in, get a lot, work with all of the upgrades, structural and interior, and then lock in a price, and then maybe sit back for a couple of years. But I guess that's not possible, because I was hoping they would do sites off the map and not actually wait for them to be permitted and all that stuff before they offer them. But I guess they have to do that.
Well, that is what they're doing. They're actually doing home sites off of a map. The infrastructure is not even, well, the infrastructure is more in Stone Creek. I don't know about Solavita. I do know they're selling off of a map and On Top of the World. And yeah, you're right. You are about a 10-month process from the time you put your money down on one of the home sites there until it's completed. And then I don't know what your thoughts are as far as possibly renting that home out for a year, but I know there's a lot of people who are waiting for their home to be built who would love to rent your home out, for that year period until their home gets ready, and then they can get it all situated and furnished and everything else.
Yeah, no, that would be a great option for us, and appreciate all the time you're spending with me. So, from what I could gather, On Top of the World, you have to put down 20%. Like Margaritaville is 10%, but you have to, build in your structural upgrades and your interior upgrades, and then 10% of that up in Panama City Beach.
Right.
But On Top of the World, I think they want 20% down. Is that correct? And then I'll let you go. You've been really generous with your time with me. I appreciate it.
No, not a problem, Mike. Yeah, let me just mention one thing on top of what that is. So yes, you put $1,000 down just to reserve the site on a credit card when they call you, and then when you go to order your home, And after you pick out all your upgrades, yes, they want 20% down. And I'm going to tell you, that is the minimum anybody can put down in On Top of the World. So they want a very soluble community, and so the developer has said that everybody who moves to On Top of the World, whether it's pre-owned or whether it's new, has to put 20% down on a home there. They don't want a bunch of foreclosures, so they feel like if somebody's going to come in there and put 20% down, there's a lot less risk of a foreclosure in On Top of the World. And so I can see how that really benefits the residents of that community, not having foreclosures in that community.
Great. And then that new section on top of the World is going to open up with the estate homes. What was the name of that again? And that'll be my last question.
I think it's Longleaf. Is that the one?
Yeah, that was leasehold. Anyway, I'll look at your other video. But thank you so much, Ira. I really appreciate it, and I really like your videos. They're very informative.
Thanks, Mike.
So much.
Well, I appreciate you calling in. You're my very first caller, so you've got that claim to fame.
Calling from Connecticut.
All right.
But we love Florida.
All right, Mike.
Okay. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, that was great. Love talking to Mike. Those are very good questions. Let me kind of shoot back over to my my text messaging going on over here. So there's Clay. I have really been talking back and forth with Clay a lot. The home inspection you did recently was very informative. It helps to know where and what to look for. I don't know a lot of these are needed, but they are helpful. How is the weather down there? Ira, finally warm up here in New Jersey. Are you all getting some much needed rain? Absolutely, Drew. We are getting a lot of rain. So let me go back up to Clay real quick. Don't know if a lot of those are needed, but they are helpful. Are you talking about the home inspection or the walkthrough videos? I'm not sure which ones you were talking about, Clay. Maybe you can kind of tell me a little bit more about what it is that you're referring to. But I know I've done a lot of walkthrough videos, and I don't know, as I'm doing them, it takes me about an hour to do a walkthrough on a home. And when I'm videoing, it just takes that much longer to make sure I get the videos down. But I do a very thorough job of going through the whole home, making sure nothing was missed by the home inspection, making sure everything was fixed that was in the home inspection. And if there's anything else that comes up and is not in working condition, I make sure that those things are taken care of. So, and I know sometimes those walkthrough videos can be pretty repetitive, but I think a lot of times I'll find things and show you all some things that I didn't necessarily show in the last video. So you can kind of see what could go wrong if you don't have a good realtor on your behalf and doing a good walkthrough. So I know a lot of realtors, they just do a fast once over and then they're out of there. But I tell you, the last one on Vance Trail that I did, there was a lot of things missed. I felt like there was even some deception possibly going on there. I found some ice in the ice tray where the ice maker is. It didn't look like it was the same kind of ice you'd see coming out of a normal ice maker. Dumped it out, went ahead, put it back in, waited for it to make ice, did my whole thing. No ice was ever made. I came back the next day, no ice was ever made. So I told the listing agent, this ice maker doesn't work. And, so I had some issues in trying to get all of that resolved for my customer. And some windows needed to be fixed that were never fixed, screens that needed to be fixed that were never fixed. That was kind of a fiasco with those listing agents, I'll tell you. So very important that you have a buyer's agent that works for you. Okay, let's see here. How is the medical care in hospitals? Ron Papaleo. So I feel like the medical community in Ocala is better than anywhere else around, better than the Villages, better than Leesburg. So it just depends on what it is that you are. It just. So, looks like we're having some technical difficulties here with my camera. I don't know what's going on today, but we need to get a handle on that. Anyways, so let's let Christian go ahead and kind of look things over here. Everything's working fine, Christian. It's just the camera keeps going.
So that cuts off?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's the camera that cuts off. Sorry about that, everybody. I know that's not real professional. I apologize. Sometimes you can't kind of foresee some of these things that are going on here. But anyways, let's get back to it. Home inspections are good, although walkthrough videos give you a good view of different models. Oh, okay. Well, cool. I'm glad to hear that. Ira, what's going on in that first community in the Villages where the modular homes are? Are they reselling those or removing them and building new homes for sale? I would say yes. They're kind of their own worst enemies over there, I'd have to say, because there was a concentrated effort to go ahead and remove those mobile homes and build site-built homes over there. And they were doing that. It was hot and heavy doing it for about 2 years. And then everybody in a mobile home kind of thought that their home was worth a lot more because of how much they were selling these mobile homes for. And the prices just started going up and up and up till it just wasn't convenient anymore to buy those mobile homes and pull them off because it's expensive. If you're buying a mobile home for $150,000 or more, then you're outpricing really the profitability of taking that home off, getting rid of it, donating it, whatever, and taking out the infrastructure and then going ahead and putting the infrastructure back in for a site-built home. So it just stopped being profitable anymore. All right, let's see. We have a second call. Hi, this is Ira.
Hi, Ira. This is Diane Sanders in Indiana.
Hey, Diane.
And how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
We talked fine. We talked a few weeks ago. I'm going to meet you at Latitude Margaritaville.
Yes.
It's going to be on August 16th. And I had a question. I've been reading, well, of course, with supply and demand. And this is kind of goes along with the last caller's question. I have heard that lots, are getting few and far between. And I've heard there's a VIP list. And I was wondering if you happen to know if, since I'm already down, to be at the same play, is if that automatically has put me on the VIP list, or should I call their office to see?
I think the only way you'll get on the VIP list is when you come down and do a sales tour.
Okay.
And then you let them know, because they want to know, they want to make sure that you come down, you check out the community, this is what you're looking for and what you're interested in, and you want to move forward with getting a home site. I do know that, I think they told me it wasn't until September before they start ordering homes again. So there are quite a few months
Right.
out right now. So August, I think we'll get you on the list, and then where at on the list, we're not really sure, because there's probably been a lot of people coming through that sales office, checking things out and letting them know that they're interested in a place in Latitude Margaritaville.
So do you think anyone that is coming through their sales office is getting on the list, not just those that are down for the day and play then, correct?
Yeah, you have to come through and let them know that you know, to put you on the list, because they don't want to go ahead and take you know, put people on the list that haven't been through and looked at it, and then come in and then say, oh no, you know, I changed my mind, I didn't know it was like this. They have so many already that are interested, that have been there, that they want to make sure that that this is for you.
Correct, and thank you. One more quick question. If a person goes down without an appointment, goes to the sales center, can you see the model
Yes.
on your own that day? Okay. Well, I know I want to have you there, you know, as my buyer's rep and thing, but I just didn't know about going down earlier or not. So I guess I'll find out more when I see you down there.
Sounds good, Diane. I'm looking forward to it. But
All right.
yep, we can. You
Me
can.
too.
All right, Diane. Thanks. Bye bye.
Thank you for all your help.
My
Bye-bye.
pleasure. Thanks. Bye. So Tracy asked, can I get a VA loan on a Villages home? Oh yeah, absolutely. You can get VA loans. VA loans are given out all the time. Sprinkler system was in really bad condition in that walkthrough video. Yeah, I know. I get soaking wet when I go through, because if you're buying a home, if you're buying this particular home, and you know, I want to make sure that those sprinklers are working correctly, because especially if somebody's not here for their walkthrough, that yard has to be in. I want to make sure that it doesn't die, especially here in the dead of the summer. If your yard isn't being watered correctly, it's not going to be good. So that's why you'll see me go around adjusting the sprinklers, because it is so important that those sprinklers are working correctly. Let's see, Doris Whitty, hello, how are you? Hi, Ira. Is the tight inventory conditions the same for the nearby Del Webb communities? Are those listings going as quickly as those in the Villages? Yes. Yeah, Mike, they are going just as fast, if not faster. And they've been caught off guard with this influx of buyers, because their inventory, they're completely out of inventory. The Villages has some, and they try to keep it going. Most of those are new homes as they go out, because everything else has been pretty much bought up. And so it works real well when you contact me and I set you up on my auto email system, and then you get these brand new listings. When I get them, you get them. That's how we set you up, okay? So soon as something hits the market, you get a hold of me. We run out there. We do the video for you, see if this is something that you're interested in, and we do our best to secure that home for you, okay? But yeah, it's all about supply and demand, and I guess there was a lot of demand there on top of the world. Am I I'm missing anybody. Hopefully I'm not. I'm kind of going up. All right, so let me kind of go on down here past Mike. I've never lived in Florida. Is the risk of a large hurricane when you live on the coast of a concern, or am I overthinking this? So this part of Florida is actually the evacuation center for Florida. Okay, so if you think about the nature of hurricanes, a lot of them will develop out there in the Gulf, and they'll either come up the coast on the west coast of Florida, go into the Panhandle, or even, go out in Alabama or Mississippi, or more often than not, New Orleans, in that area with those Gulf hurricanes. Then you have your African storms coming across the Atlantic, building up strength. A lot of them are kind of steered to the south by the Bahama Islands. Some of them kind of shoot up the coast and head up to South Carolina and North Carolina. And then, so you're either having them coming across South Florida because of the Bahama chain, or you have them steered up the coast because they skirt the Bahamas and go north. But this area, if you think about it, this is about the only area left where it's the least likely to get hit by a hurricane, and that's why a lot of people love this area. Okay, so they feel safe here. Question: due to health issues, my wife is vegan. Are there any good rated vegan restaurants or restaurants with vegan alternatives? Well, kind of got me on that one, because I'm not vegan. I would say that the Thai restaurant is probably a good alternative over there that they have at Lake Sumter Landing. But I don't know actually of any. If you know of any, WrestleMania, let me know, because all the restaurants that I'm thinking of, and all the country clubs and all the squares, I don't really know of any that are vegan. So, okay. So apologize for not being able to answer that one question. Maybe Skip knows. I bet he knows if you kind of check with Skip. I don't know if he's still away or not. Haven't heard from him in a while. I know he kind of got in his RV and headed out to the country. So, let's see. Okay, so I'm looking at what Rock Gottinger had to say. Ira didn't pay his electric bill. Well, you might be correct about that. It's either that or I'm not paying Christian enough. And so he decided to bail out of there on me. Okay, so let me see. We have 74 viewers. I'm just going back to the top just to see. Again, if you want to call in, we're doing a call in this evening. My number is 352-204-9026. You can call in and ask your questions tonight and talk with me personally if you'd like. We'd love to hear from you. Let's see. Okay, so I'll tell you what, since we have a little bit of a break, let's go back to June, because she was asking, she doesn't know what to do if she, because she has a home to sell in Port St. Lucie. And so if you have a home to sell that you need the money for to buy a home here, you have to do a contingency contract. It has to be contingent upon the sale of your home. If not, be prepared to have a mortgage in place. So let me just say this. If you're going to mortgage a home anyways here, then you might as well go ahead, put your home on the market wherever you are. Homes are selling quickly as long as they're priced right. Go ahead and apply for your mortgage, and we'll just write up a contract contingent upon financing. But like I said, be prepared, because if your home falls through that you're selling somewhere else, and it's contingent upon that sale to buy the new home, you're going to run into a lot of problems with the potential of losing your deposit, and you don't want to have to do that. So I don't recommend doing that unless you have a very sellable home, and if it falls through, and you also have to make sure that the home you're selling to a good, reliable buyer, all right? Make sure you have a high deposit. You don't want somebody who comes and puts $1,000 down, and then, 30, 45 days, 60 days later, they back out, all right? And now you're left with a home purchase with the possibility of losing your deposit, which is probably $3,000 to $5,000 here if you buy a home in this area. All right, so make sure your buyer is well qualified. If it's a cash buyer, you want to get proof of funds. If you're a cash buyer, I'm going to need proof of funds. So bring something from your financial institution that says you have the money to purchase this home. And we're not talking about somebody who has to sell a home first. And if you're financing, make sure you go and you get pre-approved from a lender, and bring me a pre-approval letter, okay? So that's what will be required if you're going to make an offer on a home here. But going back to, if you have a home to sell first, know your market, know how well your home is going to sell, make sure you get a sizable deposit, and make sure your buyer is very well qualified. You want to make sure that they're pre-approved for a mortgage, or better yet, pre-qualified, and also that they provide you a proof of funds if they're going to have cash. So those are all the protections that you'll need on your end. And make sure your buyer doesn't have a home that they have to sell before they can buy your home, because you could run into all kind of problems. That could be that domino effect, where if your buyer has a home to sell and their home doesn't sell, they can't buy your home and you can't buy this home. I mean, there could be all kind of problems. So we have to talk, we have to see what your situation is, and then I can give you some good sound advice about that, okay? Let's see here. So our heart hire, the video on the walkthrough was great. Is that a service that you provide for every one of your clients? Is there an extra charge for this service? No extra charge for this service. That's just part of the service that I do when you buy a home from me, okay? So, all right, this is Ira. I have another phone call. Who am I talking to?
Hi, Ira. My name is Rich. I'm from New York. I really enjoy your videos. They're very informative.
Thanks, Rich. Appreciate you calling in.
So I have a question about. I was down in Villages in April. Absolutely loved it, my wife and I, and we'll be looking at homes soon. But I was wondering about the roofs. Insurance companies not insuring a home if the roof is 10 years old or older.
Right.
Is there any truth to that, or?
There are some insurance companies that are actually like wanting 15 years left on the life of a roof. And that's mainly because there's really been, I kind of term it as a scam going on here in the Villages, where you have roofers who have representatives that go door to door. And they knock on your door and they say, hey, if I can get you a new roof for free, would you like me to get you a new roof? Now, who wouldn't say yes if you're going to get me a roof for free? So they take your name, they take your insurance company's information, they go up on the roof, they say, oh yeah, your roof has damage from hail. Well, look, I've been around this area for over 25 years. I don't remember any hailstorms here that would damage a roof like that.
Okay.
But they go up there, they claim there's hail damage, they send it to your insurance company. There's been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of homes, honestly, in the villages that this has happened. And so now they're kind of gun shy and they're like, well, if you want to buy a home now, it better have at least 15 years left on that roof or else we're not going to go ahead and insure you. So there is some truth to that. But if you shop around, you'll find some, but they want at least 5 years left.
Right. So how do you determine how old the roof is? If you can't get an answer if you can't get a straight answer from the agent or whoever's selling the home.
Usually through
Is there a way
the
to find out?
yeah, through the building department. You know, you have to pull a permit to put a new roof on a home. So you kind of look into the building department online and you look at permits and you see if a permit's been pulled before on that home. Chances are, if that home is less than 20 years old, I mean, the chances are it still has the original roof, but there are some that do have their roofs replaced. So we would just check the building department to see.
Okay, great. Thanks. I really appreciate everything you do.
My pleasure.
And your video is great.
Well,
I really
thank
enjoy
you,
it.
Rich.
Thank you.
Appreciate you calling.
I'll get back to you.
All righty.
Okay, thanks.
Bye-bye. Okay, so we have Santiago. Why the closing is taking so long? I'm not really sure what Santiago is asking. Why the closing is taking so long? I'm not sure what he's talking about. Are there minimum building codes in Florida? Absolutely. And do some builders do more than the minimum? Looking at on top of the world in Citrus Hills, thanks. So I would say the chances of builders doing more, no, probably very unlikely. But what I would say is it depends on what you mean. Are they doing more as far as structural or some added features? For instance, on top of the world, if you go over there, they do insulation on the bottom side of the sheathing to prevent heat penetrating into the attic. Now, that is something that not everybody does. And here in the villages, you have to pay extra for that. That's something that's standard in all the on top of the world homes that are constructed over there. But if you're talking structurally, they're all pretty much the same. They all fall under certain hurricane wind standards. Here in this area, it's like 120 mile an hour hurricane wind standards minimum that they have to build to. So they usually get, straps and, on top of the world is all block and stucco. So they have concrete, they have straps that are concreted into the top course of the block, and then those straps wrap around the tails of the trusses. But I'm just trying to think of what else they might add to the structural portion. But I'd say, they all have to be within those 120 mile an hour wind standards anyway, so they pretty much all build to that. And as far as Citrus Hills, I mean, yeah, I was over at Citrus Hills and just totally blown away by Citrus Hills. It's beautiful area. The amenities are amazing over there. The homes are beautiful. It is a non-age restricted community, which I was kind of surprised to find out. I thought all this time Villages of Citrus Hills was an age-restricted community, but no, it's not. But still, it's a very nice community, very close to the West Coast, very close to Homosassa, where a lot of people go to launch their boats and go out in the Gulf and go fishing. Crystal River is very close by too, where people do the same thing. Great seafood over there, so I kind of like the West Coast of where Citrus Hills is. So Elaine says, hello Ira, great videos. I will retire in about a year or so. I was told to sell the house, put furniture in storage, and rent while looking to buy. Is this a good plan? I don't think so, Elaine. First of all, you're getting charged for storage of your furniture. You're getting charged for rent that you're never going to get back. Depends on the time of year, but if you're renting in the Villages, it gets kind of pricey. A lot of that money could be put towards a home. So I would say, go ahead and find the home first. Put money down on that home. I mean, we can definitely help you. Even though there's very low inventory, we can definitely help you with finding a home and not having to move twice, because you have to move your furniture out of your house, into storage, out of storage, into a home, pay for storage, pay for moving again, rent. I'm just not a big fan of renting. So there you go. I hope that helps and doesn't kind of mess up any plans you had there. Ira, how do you see the market in the Villages in the next 6 months? Is it ever going to cool off? Yeah, it's good. It's definitely. Here's my take on the entire high market situation. Makes perfect sense. For a whole year, 2020, we are under this pandemic, and not many people were moving in that period of time. Most people were staying in place. And now we were still doing pretty good because of our videos and people still wanting to buy and not being able to come down, but they still bought, okay? So that was advantageous for us. But for a whole year, the whole country was just locked down, and most of the people weren't moving, they weren't selling. And so all of a sudden, and I was getting phone calls all the time. When I get my vaccine, I'm going to be down. When I get the vaccine, I'm going to be down. I couldn't tell you how many times I heard that. Well, Katie barred the door, because in February it started. Everybody was getting vaccinated in November and December and January, and then all of a sudden the floodgates opened up around mid-February, towards the end of February. And February, March, April, May, even into June, people just started flooding down here. And to my amazement, I was thinking everybody's coming to Florida and Texas, and nobody's, doing anything, selling a home up north. To my amazement, people are coming down. Yeah, I sold my home in 2 days. I sold my home in 3 days. I sold my home in 1 day. Excuse me. I'm like, where? New York, New Jersey, Michigan, Wisconsin, California, Minnesota. I'm like, I didn't think that was possible because of everything that you've heard on the news. But when you're not moving, when you're not selling anything for a whole year, that's what happens. So, since the end of February, I would say, March, April, May, and June, we've had a flood of people coming here, selling all over across the country. I see things cooling down right now, actually. I can tell by the phone calls that I'm really not getting. I can see when I was touring people twice a day, every day, 7 days a week, well, things are starting to slow down. My calendar is starting to lighten up. And to be honest with you, it's a much needed break, but that's kind of what I see happen. So now that we've gone through all of those people who were wanting to move and were jockeying to move and all over the country, then it's starting to kind of smooth out now. So this is the middle of June. This is June 21st. So yeah, in the next 6 months, I do see things kind of tapering off and even getting back to normal again. All right. So by the time by the end of the year, we only have, and I keep saying that, but I keep watching the inventory dropping down. Like I said earlier in the beginning of the show, we have 51 listings in the MLS in the Villages, which is a community of about 75,000 homes now. If you have 51 homes in a 75,000 home community, that's just incredible. So, but like I said, I'm just looking at my personal calendar and how sales are going for me, and I can just see it starting to taper off. So I think in 6 months, we'll probably go from 51 homes. In 6 months, we'll probably be back up to about 250 to 300. Let's see if I'm right by December. Okay? All right. Let me see here. What else do we have? That was for Jimmy Cunningham. I closed on the sale of my house and the purchase of my new house on the same day. A tad stressful. It was stressful, but I think worth it because you didn't have to, we do a lot of stuff by mail. And if you had your movers move you out one day and then come down here, say, and move into a home 3 or 4 days later, whatever it takes the movers to get down here, it's stressful, but boy, it's over and done with, and it's a lot easier, and you haven't missed out on a place to live. All right. How long approximately do you see the air conditioners lasting in Florida? Can you have some sort of cooling system in the lanai? Thank you. Your videos are awesome. So Drew, about 7 years is about average for an air conditioner. That's average. So have I seen 10-year-old air conditioners? Sure. 15-year-old air conditioners? I have. So, but I say on the average, 7 to 8 years is about what you'll get out of an air conditioner. And yeah, for your lanai, if it's enclosed, you can get a mini split, they call it. It's one of those Mitsubishi units that you put up on the header of your wall there, and it's very efficient, very efficient. I think better than if you tied your existing air conditioner into that lanai and put some AC vents in, because you're really putting a much bigger load on that air conditioner. I think your existing air conditioner will last a lot longer if you don't tax it with the lanai square footage and put your little mini split out there. So what are the price ranges for homes in Citrus Hills, and is it part of the Villages? Citrus Hills is not part of the Villages. It's about 40 minutes away from the Villages, and there's different areas of Citrus Hills. Okay, so you have Citrus Hills, and then you have the Villages of Citrus Hills. So the Villages of Citrus Hills is more of a prominent area of Citrus Hills. It's gated, and it has all those awesome amenities that I talked about earlier in this broadcast. And I think I'm pretty sure, I know I did a video on Citrus Hills, and I'm pretty sure I have a video out there of, they wouldn't let me come in and do a full video of Citrus Hills. I asked if I can get in those amenities, if I could take a video of the amenities, and I was told no. So I did take some, take some stills, and I think I did some videos, short videos from my cell phone, and I thought I put that all into a video, but I'll have to defer that to Christian. Maybe he can tell me a little bit better if we have that video out on Citrus Hills. But beautiful, beautiful community. Is it hard or costly to get approval permits to install solar panels on the roof? No, not at all. I mean, obviously, Clay, that's the trend that that they're trying to go to is as far as green energy. So it's not hard at all. How long approximately do you see the air conditioners and lasting? Okay, so we already talked about that. What is the price for home? We talked about that. Hey, what's up, Sylvan? I heard there is a golf cart trail almost completed. Bisto, I guess, between Spruce Creek and on top of the... Actually, it's Stone Creek and on top of the world. And yes, it is completed. The developer for On Top of the World, unlike the Villages, made a golf cart trail all the way over to Stone Creek. To be fair, they made it for their family community, which is right across the street from Stone Creek. But so they wanted their residents of Kalesa, I'll give them a little free advertising there. So On Top of the World developer is doing a family community now called Kalesa. It's huge. It's I can't tell you how many hundreds of acres that this family neighborhood's going to be in. But it's beautiful. They want people to be able to get golf carts out of there and down the golf cart path, and so the Stone Creek, the Del Webb Stone Creek people can use that as well. So there you go. So Kevin's coming in next week on the 30th. So Kevin and I are going to get together and list his home that he has, his little patio villa. I'm looking forward to that. Sylvan says, I'm feeling the slowdown in the Northeast as well. Okay, great. So that kind of just confirms what I was saying. Ira, can you help the new owner with if something is needed, if work is needed to find contractors or services to address, for example, landscape, new roofing, or inside renovation, the inside or renovating the inside? Absolutely. Just get a hold of me. I've got a list of people, whether it's electricians, whether it's interior renovators, landscapers, roofers. These are all people that I stake my reputation on, and I hold that quite dearly. So they have to do a good job for me if I'm going to recommend them. Do you recommend before a person decides on the villages for purchase to visiting other communities such as On Top of the World, Citrus Hills, Margaritaville, and Daytona? So do you recommend, and I'm not sure if you mean, do I recommend a community or do I recommend these people who do the work? So I'm not sure. I'm thinking, do you recommend before a person decides on the villages for purchasing to visit other, do I recommend people? Absolutely. Absolutely. I recommend that all the time. So, yeah, I can't tell you. And so what Flowering Plum is saying, do you recommend before a person decides on the villages for purchasing to visit other communities such as On Top of the World, Citrus Hills, Margaritaville, and Daytona? And I would put Stone Creek in that as well. And I absolutely do. Because I can't tell you how many people have come in here and given me one reason or another why the villages is not for them. Mostly because it's so big. So people from large cities don't mind the size of the villages, but people from smaller, maybe rural areas really feel overwhelmed. So that's why I took it upon myself, because what am I going to do? I mean, am I just going to let you come in and say, the Villages isn't for me, and then just walk out the door? No, I decided I was going to, look out there and find other things for other people. So you owe it to yourself to come to the Villages, hang out, have fun, go to the squares, ride in the golf carts, do whatever. But if you feel like it's too crowded or if you feel like it's too big, those are the two things that I hear about the Villages, then yes. And I'm happy to take you over to On Top of the World, show you around, show you Stone Creek. We have Del Webb Spruce Creek, we have Stone Crest, and you think about all those names, they really get confusing and jumbled up. So I can sort all that out for you, and we can find the right community. And you know what? That's what I tell everybody who comes to see me is, look, let's find the right community for you first, and then we'll look for the home for you. It only makes sense. Why are we going to be looking at homes in the Villages if you feel like the Villages is too big, if it's overwhelming? Why are we going to look for homes over at Del Webb Spruce Creek if you want a new home? So there's different reasons why, I would kind of suggest one community or another one. So I always sit down with all the people that I meet. I spend at least an hour, if not an hour and a half, with people in the conference room and decide, is the Villages the place for you? Some people come in here, absolutely, the Villages, I don't want anywhere else. Okay, fine, let's go. Let's check it out. Other people will tell me all their needs. They'll give me their price range. They'll tell me the square footage that they want. They'll give me all the particulars of a home that they want. And I can tell them, look, I can't get you that home in your price range here in the Villages, but I can get you that home in that price range and On Top of the World with everything that you want. So that's kind of what I do. I figure it out, I help you figure it out, and then we go and we look and we see if that's what you want to do. So we will get you in the right community first, then we'll look at homes, models, all that good stuff, and then get you on the right road. Let me just give another little shout out. We're doing telephone calls today. If anybody wants to reach out and call us, telephone number to call in is, you're calling in to Danielle, my new assistant, and that number is 352-204-9026 if you want to talk with me personally, if you want to ask any questions on the air. We'd love to hear from you, okay? All right. Yeah, I got you, Flower and Plum. Hopefully I answered that question correctly for you. I had to read it a couple times before I can get it up here. Hello. Hello to me. How many more homes are left to build it On Top of the World? They're telling me about 4,000, 4,500. Okay. So hopefully, I'm thinking, it looks to me like they're about half built out, and they have 6,500 homes right now and On Top of the World. So it looks to me like they have about another 6,000 to go, but I don't know if they're going to build another golf course over there or not. It looks to me like they have enough room to build another golf course and the 4,500 homes that they say that they are going to build when they get built out. So TJ, how's this? I'm a little bit closer to the microphone. Does that, how's that? Is that better? And thank you for letting me know. It's hard to hear me, so I don't know unless you guys tell me. So thank you for telling me about that. Let's see. All right. So let's see. What else are we going to talk about tonight? So I guess a lot of you weren't here when we talked a little bit about the market and what's going on in the market, how it seems to me like it's slowing down a little bit. We also talked about me doing walkthroughs for you. Somebody asked if I charge for that. No, absolutely not. That is a service that I provide that honestly, I mean, this is not bragging or anything like that. Having a residential contractor's license, I feel like I'm more qualified to do walkthroughs than just your average realtor, all right? Now, I went through 120 hours of home inspection school. I got my home inspector license because back in 2010, 2011, when the market was down here, I'm like, I need to do something to compensate, for some income coming in. There's just nothing. The market just died. 2010, 2011, 2012. So I got my home inspector license. I got a lot of the tools I needed for the home inspector license. I did not get the computer program that you need because there is a program you put in your computer that you just go down and check off as you go and do your home inspections. So I let the license expire because in 14, 15, 16, I never got into doing home inspections. I just kept up with the real estate, and eventually it got better. The rest is history. And so I still have an active residential contractor's license, and I still have my experience from building back in the 90s. And I really feel like I can do a great job for you as your buyer's agent, okay? Now, one thing I do want to point out, those village sales agents over at their sales office, be careful because they are all sellers agents, all right? So I don't like to really talk bad about anybody, and I'm not really talking bad about them. I'm just giving you guys the information you need when you come to the villages to buy. So when you walk into their office, they are seller's agents. They work for the developer. They work for the seller, whether it's pre-owned or whether it's new. They are seller's agents. How good of a job will they do on their walkthrough with you? That is a question that you'll need to ask, okay? So be careful. Ask that question. See what they're going to do for you, okay? We have another caller that called in. Oh, hello, this is Ira. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Ira, this is Becky Thompson. How are you?
Becky, I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. We wanted to call in and kind of sing your praises a little bit.
That is too nice. That is too nice, Becky. So tell our viewing audience what you'd like to say.
Well, I just want to say that we've been married for 35 years, and we've bought and sold homes over those 35 years. And I just want to say that we have never been so amazed at the wonderful job that you have done for us. And it was just very shocking to us that you go over and above everything. It went well over all the expectations we ever had, and that you and your staff, Danielle and Christian and everyone, has gone over and above everything we could ever hope for.
Well, Becky, that's very nice of you. I appreciate that. And for all my viewers, Becky and Don, they're the ones. They're another couple that never saw. They never stepped foot in their home, right, Becky? Before you bought it.
Right. We looked on the website for quite a while, for a couple of months, and what we were noticing is whenever we found something that we liked or we were interested in, it was already pending. And so we found one that we really liked, and we contacted you, and it was extremely easy and very professional, and just couldn't have asked for a better experience.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate you calling in and saying that. And should we tell the audience the street that your home was on? Or would you like to
yes,
keep
it's
that?
rolling. Yeah, well, I guess we could kind of keep it confidential. We haven't moved in yet, and so that might be good. But it was one of the most recent ones that you have done, and we just want to say that we are now closed on the home and gotten it painted and getting ready to make a few more changes. And I just want to tell you, we just can't thank you enough.
Well, it's my pleasure, and I do want to tell the viewing audience as well. There were still a couple of things that needed some attention before Becky moved. Well, before they took possession of their home, they closed on their home, and I promised Becky that the few things that were left on the home inspection report and that needed to be taken care of, I told her I will back that up. I will make sure that those things are being taken care of. So I don't know if Danielle told you, but we have them coming to fix the washer and the dishwasher. And I think
that's awesome. That's awesome.
And then go ahead.
That is wonderful. Yes, you have backed up everything that you have said, and that is, we are just blown away.
Well, thank you for that, and I'm more than happy to do that. I mean, I stake my reputation on what I do, and I just make sure that everything is, that's why I do the thorough walkthroughs that I do for you, because I don't want there to be any surprises. And so I hold the listing agent accountable. I make sure that those things get fixed, and if they're not fixed, I make sure that they promise me that they will be fixed, and I will stand behind it, and I'll have it fixed if I have to have it fixed to make sure that it's done and it's done right. So that's, Becky, I know that you know that, and I appreciate your confidence in me. And I really appreciate you calling in and telling the folks about that, because we just did a testimonial with some folks right before this broadcast here of the same thing. They never stepped one foot in their home. I did the video for them. I did the walkthrough for them. So you guys came down in between the walkthrough and the purchase, but then you left, and so I had to do the walkthrough for you, and you relied on me to do that walkthrough for you, so I was happy to do that.
Yes, and that was extremely helpful. And I tell you, when we move down there, you're going to be our real estate agent, buying and selling for life.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Sweet of you to call me and let me know that. That's awesome.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
All right. Take care, Becky. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. So let's see. Is there anything else now? We're going to kind of wind it up, I think. Let's see. Could you do more videos that compare cost of the 55 and older communities around the villages? I find these very helpful. Yeah, Brent, I try to do that. I get a little pushback from the developers and from the POA over there. They don't like me. They feel like I'm intruding when I have my video cameras there. As much as it's helpful, and it helps these developers sell homes for them. But I try to do what I can to get those videos. But now you're talking about cost, and so I did a little HOA comparison. I hope everybody saw that and saw the real cost in one community over the other one. And so if you're talking, what I will do, Brent, is I will go ahead and talk about cost of living. How's that? I'm sure that's probably what you're talking about. And I'll go ahead and do a little cost of living video and talk about all the different communities and what it costs to live in there. Hey, Laura, how are you? She's one of my friends from Skip Smith's channel as well. Sylvan says, thanks, Ira. The reason we picked you was your talents in the building business. Okay, not just as a realtor. We will need your overall experience when we pull the trigger. And then Flowering Plum. I saw your video on Margaritaville, and the interior of the homes in style and size appeared to me to be superior to the homes in the villages. Your opinion? Honestly, I kind of really feel like they're a totally different style, as well as the other communities have. I don't know, I just feel like they have more updated features, more current, I guess that's the proper word for it, current features like the LVP, the luxury vinyl planking, like quartz over granite now. Quartz seems to be the latest and the greatest. High ceilings, 12-foot ceilings, rather than like the villages builds them 8 foot and vaults them up with their trusses to 10 feet. So I just feel like these other communities are more of a current trend in the building industry from what I'm seeing. I really feel like the villages needs to kind of step it up a little bit, but you're buying the lifestyle in the villages. So that's why they kind of keep the status quo, I think, with their homes, is because they're hoping and betting on the lifestyle that they provide. And so they have to keep their costs competitive as well. And I feel like some of these other homes that offer the nicer features, the higher ceilings, the higher walls, the villages would just, if they went that route, they'd really have to raise the cost of their homes. And they're already behind the curve a little bit as far as cost goes. So that's why when Flowering Plum, I think, asked about, should I go ahead and look at other communities before I pull the trigger on the villages? Absolutely, I think you owe it to yourself just to kind of check out prices, size of home sites, the current features of a home, and then you make that decision, okay? So anyways, T. Kelly, no one ever gets back to about a stay at the villages to try it out. 4 times we try to contact them. Call us. Call Danielle, 352-204-9026. And we will get one of our preferred agents over there to get you hooked up, okay? And we'll take care of that for you. All right. So 7:22, and I think we're going to wrap it up for this evening. I want to thank you all for coming on and watching our show and putting up with some of the technical glitches that went on. We're going to try to perfect our call-in for next time. But we'll see you next month, and we're going to try to do these the first Monday of the month. So we're probably going to see you back here in a couple weeks, actually. So thank you all for watching our video and watching this live stream. Please feel free to contact me. homesaroundthevillages@gmail.com is a great way. You can email me, and then we'll give us your criteria. We'll set you up on an auto email. You'll start getting listings and see if we can help you that way. call Danielle, 352-204-9026. She would love to talk to you. Danielle's new, so please give her a little bit of room as far as this learning curve she's going through, because there's a lot to learn and a lot to know on the Village's expert team. So, but I know she'd love to hear from you. So thanks, everybody. We're going to cut it off for now, and we'll see you in 2-3 weeks. Take care.